Hello, sleepy stars. Welcome back to our cozy bedtime corner. Tonight, we're sharing a very special story called Guess How Much I Love You, a gentle tale about love, hugs, and just how big our hearts can grow. So grab your favorite blanket, snuggle up tight, and let's begin. Once upon a quiet bedtime, there were two adorable brown hares. One was Little Nut Brown Hare. The other was Big Nut Brown Hare. Little Nut Brown Hare was getting sleepy, but before bed, he had something very important to say. He looked up at Big Nut Brown Hare and said, "I love you this much." As he stretched his arms out as wide as he could, Big Nut Brown Hare smiled and stretched his arms even wider. "Well," he said, "I love you this much." That was bigger. Little Nut Brown Hare thought for a moment, then stood on his tiptoes and reached as high as he could. "I love you all the way up to the sky." Big Nut Brown Hare gently lifted him into the air. "I love you all the way up to the sky, and all the way back down again." Wow! That was huge. Little Nut Brown Hare lay on his back and kicked his legs into the air. "I love you all the way to my toes." Big Nut Brown Hare held his tiny legs and replied, "I love you all the way to your toes, and all the way back to your nose. Can you wiggle your toes right now?" "Go ahead, wiggle, wiggle." Little Nut Brown Hare started hopping. "I love you as high as I can hop." Big Nut Brown Hare hopped even higher. "I love you as high as I can hop." Little Nut Brown Hare looked around at the trees and the river and the moon beginning to rise. He had one more idea. "I love you all the way down the lane, and across the fields, and over the hills." Big Nut Brown Hare smiled softly and said, "I love you all the way down the lane, over the fields, across the river, and beyond the hills." Little Nut Brown Hare was feeling very sleepy now. His eyes grew heavy. He called up close to Big Nut Brown Hare and whispered, "I love you all the way to the moon." Big Nut Brown Hare kissed him good night and tucked him in. Then, very quietly, he said, "I love you all the way to the moon and back." Wasn't that beautiful? This story reminds us that love doesn't have to be loud or fancy. Sometimes, love is soft. Sometimes, love is quiet. And sometimes, love is just being close to someone who cares about you. Before we say goodnight, let's try something together. Put your arms out really wide. Now whisper, "I love you this much." And remember, someone loves you even more than that. Thank you for spending bedtime with me tonight. Sweet dreams, little friends. Sleep tight,